Hello everyone, Shintenzo here. Today we're gonna do all world bosses with Chao solo. Basically, as you can see right now I'm just doing Razor Spine, which I cannot break the shield, so I just have to damage through the damage mitigation it has on me. That's pretty much it. There's nothing really special about this. I did use food on certain bosses, like on this one I just used an attack buff food, that's about it, so it's just a little bit faster, although it probably wouldn't matter. The next one will be the Electro Cube, which is a little bit annoying of a fight, because I later realized I could have done it a little bit faster, but I just stick with this. I only want to DPS it with basically just basic attacks and my dashes, because I need to keep my burst for one of the cubes. After this attack I will destroy only one, and after that I'm actually gonna destroy two of them. Simplest, because with the Chao burst you can only destroy two of them at any given time. You know, just timer doesn't last long enough, and due to the Anemo element being a little bit in the distance of clearing really fast, like certain other elements like cryo, pyro. Yeah, and here we go, waiting time. Basically this entire fight is just gated because Chao is Anemo and you cannot destroy them with physical attacks whatsoever, and you need to do quite a lot of Anemo damage to them. But it is what it is. And basically here I kinda missed my burst because I didn't have enough energy. If I had enough energy, I could have destroyed them already now, but I have to cope for one more round. So I just kept this clip because I just didn't want to redo this entire fight because it was really annoying me. Like, I really don't like these super statuses at all. So this is just a little bit extra time wasted just to show you what can happen if you're not having the correct stuff on yourself. I made sure on the later bosses I am not repeating this mistake, so yeah. As you can see, I will be able to destroy both of them. I'll just quickly dash over to the other one and just plunge it to death. And there we go. Next one is the Cryo Cube. It's also pretty much straightforward. The only difficulty fight on this is actually the cryo build up on yourself, and just don't get hit. Like, literally don't get hit. The moment you get hit, you can actually almost reset the fight with Chao. Like, this fight from the Hypostasis is a little bit harder in terms of damage, but most of the time it's actually quite easy. Yeah. As you can see, it will go into this stupid shield phase where you have to knock those balls back to it. It will just regenerate HP, so you want to do it as fast as possible, because at this point you will just lose HP, and I was not really fond of going to the outside and activate the totems. So I just tried to finish it here, and it, for whatever reason, it just died with like 5% HP still up. I don't know what's up with that, but it died, and I almost died here as well. Because I didn't watch my HP bar. I know many will ask why Anemo Hypostasis and probably later Andres. Basically here I used actually a 4-piece Echo set on Chao and a physical goblet, and there I went full, yeah, that was bad. I'm only dashing to reset the attack animation a little bit faster instead of dash, and since it's raining, I get a free swirl on it, even though it's not much damage, like 700, but whatever. Yeah, like all these superstars always have those invulnerability phases where you cannot damage them or just have to do some stupid gimmick mechanic, and I just don't like the boss design in Genshin Impact all too much. Like, they keep doing these weird ass mechanics that nobody needs. You don't need this shit. Like, I would rather have a boss with, I don't know, 50% or 100% more HP that I can constantly hit, like all the fucking time. Like, why is this a thing? Why do you waste my time like this? Like the whales will be happier, and the free-to-play players will be also happier because they will have higher chances to deal damage with their characters. But when you introduce invulnerability frames for bosses, phases, then there's a high chance that you're actually completely missing your damage if you're doing it. So it's, I know the reason why they made it like this, so they the game doesn't feel that easy, but still, like even in this fight, why does he run around? It's just waiting time. Like, dash, and he runs around again, and you cannot do anything. You're just standing there waiting. And just dash it again. I mean, I know those bosses were 1.0 bosses from the beginning, but to be honest, even the later bosses are not really that much of improvement. Basically, I'm just on this fight I was also actually using 4P Echo Chow, just for the physical damage, I guess, because it's the only way you can kill those bosses if there's an elemental immunity on them. So this is what it is. And I also used actually Fudodo, so it's just a little bit faster because I didn't want to spend more time on them. I was literally just bashing them. As you can see, the effect of the 4P Echo is actually quite nice. Solo damage, physical. It's kind of fine, I guess. This one was another boring fight, as everyone would have guessed. The entire reason why I'm doing this is because on Chow mains there's actually a role that you can get if you solo every world boss, including the weekly bosses with Chow. And well, basically prove it, do a video, whatever. Yeah, that's why I'm doing it. So as you guessed, I will actually have to do all bosses that are available right now in the game. I'm not actually doing the bosses like Masanori or something like this, or those Shadow Husks, even if they have a boss bar, because in my opinion they are not bosses, they're just, they're just, I don't know why they got an HP bar, it's kind of weird. Like even Rodea is not really a boss in itself, because she's literally just spawning those stupid mimics. I was actually expecting when they were changing her from this Vagabond event, and when you get the pet from her, that we will creep actually this type of boss. And then I realized later, that was probably a bad idea, because that is even worse than this. Because of the stupid DPS phases you have to do on her, since it only works when you go on the water fountain pillar theme, whatever it's called. Yeah, it's just waiting. If you're, by the way, if you're standing in the middle, she will never go for the middle part. It's always the outer things. And whenever it's the duck, like those big ones, if it's a singular mob that spawns, then it will always explode, so you can just bunny hop across the arena and get safe. You actually still get damage even if you go inside the water, which is kind of stupid, because in my opinion you shouldn't get damage if you go into the water, because it would enforce this mechanic of dodging it, like going into the water to feel a little bit more safe, but it's just free damage. Or you can alternatively just jump above it, because it only hits the ground. Basically the same story as the Cryo one. There's nothing much you can do here. You will also not be able to break it. I just put it there because I was too impatient. Every boss fight in the game can actually be done without getting hit by the boss in itself, from what I realized. And the only thing that damages you is like area damage or something like that, if it's like from the area itself, from the arena. Like if the Cryo or Pyro doesn't, Pyro field or something like that. I mean, technically it counts, but there's sometimes stuff where it's just, this, like, fights like this, I decided to just one phase it instead of going full shenanigans on it and trying to do all its mechanics and gimmicks and tower breaks and all this fucking stupid shit. So I just made my Chow low HP, put Staff of Homa, all the food buffs, VHA, precast, and you saw the damage. This one was actually very easy as well. There's not really much you need to do here. It's just put your highest DPS set on and more or less cycle it and one burst. Well, if you have R5 promote reject with spear. Yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya. Easy. And oh boy, this one is, I don't know what miHoYo did with this. This is one of the worst designed bosses in the game. I know that you're supposed to play into the element thing and, you know, just equip a Hydra character and just go and just delete the shield. But honestly, I don't understand why the shield doesn't have a numerical value that you can just destroy with damage. Like, if you have the damage, just you can kill it, alright? But no, you cannot. So instead of what I did, since I needed a lot of hits from elemental damage source, I made a Chao build with 261 ER. I think 260 is enough. Basically, if you cast your burst, your skill 3 times, you will get actually your entire burst back. So the idea here was to actually just get always burst up and hit the thing. And that's the entire stick. You just have to dodge those attacks. This one you can just jump above, and the other attacks are just, you know, like this one you can just iframe it, go actually into it, so it doesn't follow you. Like if it jumps up, right, you just dash against it, because then it will land behind you, if that makes sense. There was actually also one attack that I never seen in my life, probably because I'm just killing it too fast whenever I did this thing. During the shield phase, it can actually create a fusion explosion, more or less. It just stands in the middle and loads up, and then it gets really bright, and it kind of hits the entire arena. I'm not sure how much damage it does, because I never tested it. I didn't wanted to see it, because you can see if I use my Chao burst the entire time, it drains HP, and those butterflies can also hit you for like 1 or 2k damage if you're still inside. I just in general hate this boss because it's moving after each attack. Like, instead of doing something next to you, it just moves away first. For no reason, it just moves away. Like, Inazuma was all about making bosses and enemies that always are constant and move, because we need to waste your time and your abilities, just so you have to pay attention to hit them, because we have to nerf Bennett somehow, right? Or any stationary ability in the game. Like, these ways, most of the bosses are kind of fine. Like, even they got hit there. Like, even the ideas with the hypostasis that they made with the Pyro and the Hydra one are kind of fine, but as always, stupid shield, invulnerability phases, and the worst part about this is also that it gets its shield back if you're not destroying those totems. Like, at least you have to kill only one after you burst it down. Yeah, this is the other thing. Because after that attack it will put those things up and you have to actually kill only one. At least that's the only good part about it. So it doesn't get the shield back. And you can DPS it again. Yeah, as you can see, I cannot even kill 2 of them. Like, unlike the Electro Hypostasis. Here I have to run a bit because those things hurt a lot. And since I'm very low HP, kinda sucks. And I didn't hit my skill because for whatever reason it, you know, just doesn't hit sometimes. Something that has been never fixed till now. Still a problem. Like, I reported this bug, this hitbox bug a lot of times, but it is what it is, sadly. Magokenki, pretty straightforward. I beat him so many times in Abyss solo as well already, but for the sake of consistency, I still did the world boss version instead of showing the second side. I actually did that one as well because I was actually also part of the challenge in Chao mains to get a special role for it, which I will do in a separate video later on. I think he just does the same stuff, just dodge with you jump, just do your jet or rake, whatever you may call it. After each attack, actually make sure that you're more or less in air and high plunge range, just so you can bait him into another attack instead of letting him dash away. This boss, I had a little bit trouble figuring out what I had to do because I never did the mechanics in this boss, not gonna lie. But, I think you just want to catch this little fucking orb there, so it doesn't get healed, little bitch. And then it just moves away, and it's just typical hypostasis. You cannot damage it, because it moves and it has this fucking stupid cubes around it, so you can damage it. I don't know what it did here, probably made us waves, and I just cannot do shit. And there it got healed. Because I just, you know, I had to. I was kinda stupid of me to cast it here, because I thought it would last a little bit longer, but it didn't. At least here it's it did the thing, so I can put it into this weird ass face. Almost, because it healed again. Like, I just don't understand this. Like, also this dolphins, they were really weird. Yeah, I did unlock an achievement there. Like, this is so fucking ridiculous. How many moves does this fucking thing has that can damage me? Like, what the fuck? For this I was kinda lucky. Like, you can kill all three of them with Chao, because you bounce them a little bit away all the time. And there I fucked up. But I went over those anyways because I needed a second one. Yeah, basically only because of this bounce you can just kill them all. And for whatever reason they are actually taking a lot of elemental damage. Fundamentalization was pretty straightforward, just damage it as fast as you can, I guess. That was my idea of it. So, because I knew it didn't have a lot of health, it was just annoying because it marks you and has attacks that would just go into you more or less. Like, I almost thought I would, yeah, there again. I actually hit it, but I didn't. And it would have been dead. And now I'm getting punished because my skill didn't hit. And now there's a stupid box that I have to run away. Just because I have to do one more basic attack. Oh. Oh. PMA, also very straightforward, actually a lot easier than the Abyss version, just simply because there's well, less health, obviously. As well as for the damage itself, because the annoying part on the PMA with Solo Chao is actually the 4 mechanical arrays that are getting spawned. Because obviously they all have their moveset, and in Abyss they actually deal a lot of damage. They are doing so much damage that you have to really be careful. And since this Abyss cycle actually has this PMA, I was actually finishing it as well there with very low HP. With very low HP, and you will see it how low it is. For this one, same story as the Geo Cube. Oh, sorry, the Geo Hypostasis. Basically precast the Q, so I got my VHA stacks and just plunge while it's doing the thrashing. During this time I can do the entire damage and more and more and more, and just dash 3 times. Easy. No need to do stupid mechanics. This one was actually also very straightforward. Actually kinda boring to fight against, but it is what it is. The Abyss version was a little bit harder because they did this AoE things with their tails when they are slamming it in the ground, creating an AoE field that you can see, and in this AoE field you can actually get damaged. And since Abyss is on time, you actually have to stay most of the time into those things. Basically this fight is very scripted. This guy always goes here, always, no matter what. One plunge is enough to take him down from the wall, or whatever, to destroy the wall. Basically, this guy always does this thing with the ball, and you just want to C6 them back and forth to keep their HP in line. I dashed there so I didn't get wanted to get hit by those balls, because getting hit by those balls is very annoying because they're draining energy, and the cryo one is actually even more annoying. Simply because, and there I actually got pushed. And the irony about all of this is, That's I actually got an achievement for this, which is the swimming prohibited. Because I also never, you know, I just. Yeah. On this fight, I actually didn't knew what to do because I was also nuking it all the time, and here was just I just try to damage it as much as I can, or whenever I can. Thought I would be in range, but this doesn't apparently damage it for whatever reason. On this build, I also kept more or less 150 ER, so I can get my burst back relatively quick. I figured he would just do a little funny attack, so I just jumped into air to save myself, and the rest is just jet plunge. Nothing really out of the ordinary. I think I got hit there because I dashed through it, but whatever. Now for the weekly bosses. I almost actually forgot Dwalin. I actually did the others first. Dwalin I did last. So he's very, you know, easy. You can iframe this attack just by touching the correct moment. As for his shield, it drops into dashes. Pew pew. Just pop burst, jump on the thing, and just damage him down. I kinda dislike this fight because Dwalin is actually really cool design, but the way they made this boss is just very boring. Child was also very straightforward, just, you know, dodge attacks and damage him as much as possible. That's not really much to talk about. We pretty much all know Chow. I was kinda annoyed how often he used his fucking shield. Like whenever I fought him normally with my team, he never used his shield. But here it's just because I had to retry him at least 3 times just because of this fucking stupid shield. It literally wasted my entire burst and I couldn't deal damage. Which was very annoying. And this form is actually very easy. Although I didn't got hit by this because I didn't pay attention for a moment. I thought he would do it faster, but you know. Mihoyo likes to delay attacks. And oh boy. Most annoying part about this fight is how big it is. And that he body pushes you a lot around if you're not paying attention. That's why I'm mostly trying to keep my place a little bit next to his face whenever I can. If you're actually too far inside, you will actually jump against his chin and you will get pushed down. And you cannot really do a high plunge. And this entire fight is also, you know, scripted. You just have to run away because those shockwaves, you cannot iframe them. They are true damage in the game. True damage is basically something that always hits you, no matter what. The only one that that is immune to that is burst animations, or I think Mona can do it with her hold E because she also gains like a true iframe. Because that thing can also dodge Raiden, the execution slash, if you're not killing the orb. There I got hit, as you can see, because even his basic attacks are not iframeable. You just have to suffer through them if they hit you. I did them in the week, basically. I did all of these bosses basically more or less in one day. So this was during the week where he's Pyro and Electro. The other, I watched the other videos for his attack patterns actually to see if there's any similarities, and they're almost similar. Let's say it like this. Like this phase after the second transformation is always like a Dutch field game. You just have to run away or just be in the correct spot to not get damaged, and that's about it. Don't use your burst here because you will need to see where those things are to not get damaged. Because with burst it's actually really hard to see if you're from above for whatever reason. Like if you're literally plunging from above and you're watching the ground, you barely see it. But this way you can see the outline. He does it all, only 3 times, so that's how you know. And then you can just, you know, just pierce him down. It's actually a Mystic that was doing it here in the back. I tried to move forward, but this AoE attack still hit me on the edge. And there I almost died, because he body blocked. I mean bodied me. Senora is just another stamina fight, more or less. A little bit tricky, because you have to make use of the arena a little bit because of this totems. Don't get hit by any of the Cryo attacks because they slow you and they instantly put your meter high up. Because you want to go into the second fight with a little bit HP actually. Because if you make a little mistake and you burn to death, then that's it. Basically now I just have to search for this thing. I use the skill because it can also trigger it and give me energy back for the second fight. And those icicles, just stand behind this thing and just walk left, right. Like literally, that's all you can do. That's all you need to do. That's how easy it is. You don't have to dodge around because actually dodging them is actually a death sentence because then they will hit you. I did get hit here because I wasn't paying too much attention, but even if you're on cryo, you can still do it. And instead of going for the thing, I just destroyed it because the next phase will not have the cryo area thing. She will actually go into this entire combo phase after 70% of her HP. She will literally use her entire kit during that moment, and you kind of want to just run around and slap those crystals until they're like 1 HP. That's it. Not really much you can do. Just sometimes if she's in the middle, you can still go to her and use the skill just to damage her a little bit further. But yeah, as you can see, she starts doing all these attacks. I kind of still wanted to make them all 1 HP, because at some point the arena will be filled with this entire ground thing, and the ground thing cannot be removed unless you destroy these things, and you need a fighting space. That's the annoying part about her. Yeah, that's the whirlwind phase, which just basically just stand in the corner, dodge those. She actually never really goes into an entire corner, but I had to kill one because the pyro bar was actually going too high up, and here I have to kill another one because the explosion deals a lot of damage. Just iframe that and DPS her down. At least try to. There I could have actually did it, but I thought she would do this this meteor attack because it has the same look, which she will do now again. I think at least she will do it. Ah, no, never mind. Because I kind of was so down when I was doing this fight. I was just happy that it was over. Not gonna lie. Yeah, now she is doing it. At this moment it was. It's kind of funny how you can just run away, run around, just chill, even though your life is getting slowly drained. And yeah, that was kind of anticlimactic. Right. That one was a very tough nut. In the first phase you can actually get hit by some of the attacks. It doesn't matter, it probably doesn't matter because in the second phase you will be low HP anyways. Or most of the time low HP. You need at least 150 ER. So I was running actually 2P2P, VV and Glad with elemental energy recharge subs just to reach 150. It's very important for the second part. I will explain later why. Here I also just cancelled the attack animation with a dodge and do a little bit more damage. I sadly got hit there, even though you can iframe it, but it is what it is. Whenever you're standing behind her, she actually does this, and you can actually more or less almost always dodge these attacks. Like this one not, because it's just, just run to the edge. Nothing really groundbreaking. Like most people ask, how do you dodge this? You just stand on the edge. There is no other place. And this fight is where it gets nifty. Basically, this attack, whenever you see her blinking up on the sword hill, you will know that you can iframe it. Like even this attack you can iframe, but I just go to the side just to be safe. And as you can see, my energy gets drained, and every time I dodge with my skill, I hit her with my skill, I get it back. After the 4th attack, well 5th attack, this one, you can actually pop your burst because you need it. This cube in the middle can only be damaged with elemental damage. And you need at least 4 elemental damage instances, which is not enough with your skill damage. And as you can see, it's very fast, so you need to be in burst while killing the cube. And after this, it's just a matter of time to just perfectly iframe the entire fight. Because every time she uses an attack, she's actually losing energy. Like, she constantly loses energy. There's this phase as well. You just also go to the edge, and so the most closest points to you, and you just perfectly iframe. Like, the first 3 is just normal iframes, then it gets a double one, then it's again a single, another single, and then it's a double. With the last one, you actually have to move a little bit forward and then dodge into that, because if you just stand there and do another dodge, it will actually hit you, because the intersection is too big from the hitbox, which is really annoying. I had to learn it the hard way. Yeah, basically you just have to iframe this. Like, this is almost a no-hit run at this point, as it's just GG. Touch. Here we go. Easy. Another dodge. Like, you really have to pay attention to her sword. Like, I was only looking at her sword, what she does. That's the only thing you have to pay attention. Yeah, and as you can see, she just lost it. You will actually gain your full burst back, and that's where the entire burst zone will come now. I will just jet her to death. Literally just jet her to death. Like, after this, she actually breaks out of the thing. It's actually the longest DPS phase you can do for her. And surprisingly, you actually have a lot of hit lag on her. Like, holy shit. Like, my burst ran out and I was still dealing a limit damage. Well, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. In the background there will be a clip from me running the pseudo main. What can I say about bosses in Genshin? Most of them are ridiculously annoying. That's all I can say. They're just annoying. They're really annoying. But it is what it is. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And bye bye.